Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast today. It's Thursday. And Mark, if you can find that microphone, I would plug it in. It would be good. You guys, I'm excited to be here. It is amazing what's going on in our life. Packy Horton, I can't talk right now. Tell her to get on the broadcast. Kwangsu. You're all excited about what's going on in Korea in our business, and she's dialing me up during my Facebook Live. You guys fired up. Miguel Nieves, what a throwback. Fired up in the house. Yup, I don't always see everybody coming on. Unless you comment, I don't know you're here. So just know that I love the comments. I love when you guys are communicating back and forth. Sometimes I think to myself, man, I would take some comments. I would actually take some questions and be able to, then I'd have to be real. Like, I can either answer them or I can't. I can say yes or I can say no. So we have Herbie talking in the background. Maybe he'll come join me. Miguel's on, Herbie. Mark and Herbie, I can hear you guys in the background over there. All right, fired up. I don't know if you guys want to get on the broadcast with me. You're welcome to. I don't know. You guys are having a big conversation over there. Fired up. Welcome to the Brook. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Natalie. Fired up in the house. I want to talk about non-negotiables today. Good morning, Brian. We'll take a few. And are we live on this line too? Yes. Okay, fabulous. I'll take a few hellos quick. Hey, Jab. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning, Brian. Yes, from Florida. We come in from all over the world. We've got the Down Unders. We get people from Australia on this broadcast. Today, though, I really want to talk about some stuff that's going on, and I think it's going to hit you, hopefully like a ton of bricks in a good way. Hello, Michelle. Good morning, Natalie. I'm going to swipe those. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, I'm all fired up. Fired up is right. Okay, I've swiped those, but that's okay. I'll go back and look at them later and comment. Guys, I am in a frenzy right now with some of the information that I want to bring you. I'm going to go ahead and plug in this microphone because this will actually, most likely it's going to help the broadcast and have a clearer, hopefully that'll be clearer. You guys can let me know later. I'm not even thinking about it right now. Okay, fired up. Yeah, I think that works. Mark, that's fine. We don't have to get fancy, I don't think. I think we're good. Yeah, I mean, usually it plugs in. Alrighty, so non-negotiables, that's what I want to talk about with you today. What are some of the non-negotiables? Non-negotiables in business. What are some of the non-negotiables in life? A lot of people look at, our life and they're like, man, I wish I could live that way. And Herb and I are famous for saying, you know what, if we can, you can. And we really believe that. We really believe that with everything in me. I believe that anything that you see that anybody that's successful has done, better take this off. It's saying it's not supported. So hopefully, there's always got to be, for my friend Tom, a little hiccup at the beginning of these broadcasts because it makes him laugh. There's always got to be a commitment on your behalf. And I want to talk about that. I took a few notes. Sometimes, I was actually doing something or a broadcast or speaking, I don't know where I was speaking, on a radio show or in person. And I said, on Thursday, I really want to cover the non-negotiables. Maybe it was a post. But I'll tell you, the non-negotiables, even in marriage or in your business or in your with your children, in your relationships, in your friendships, what are some of the non-negotiables? And I know Herb and I are very committed to each other. We've been together for a long time. We met in 1982, probably before some of you that are listening were even born. And, it was our freshman year in college. And I'll tell you, we have, had an incredible time together, but we are committed. Some of the things we don't talk about that I hear people talk about, if you want a successful marriage, you've got to make it a priority. It's easy. He's my best friend, so that makes it easier. That doesn't mean he doesn't get under my skin sometime and I don't get under his skin sometimes, because that's, of course, what's going to happen. But one of the beautiful things that we have made as non-negotiables is we don't talk about separating. We don't talk about, some people just have this common language in their households about divorce. Look, that's not a conversation that comes up here. That's not that we can't stay together. That's not a conversation we have. And if you're having those types of conversations, you're giving an entranceway for the enemy to come in and act on it. You definitely want to start to eliminate and be very careful about what you're saying to your spouse. I've spoken to you before about words and the importance of words and the relevance of speaking life to people, because the Bible says there's life and death in the power of the tongue, and you'll eat the fruits thereof. So it's important that we're speaking life. Cool, I've said to you before, listen, if you want more of your junk, talk about it, because you'll get it. If you want to focus, what do you focus on? Whatever you're focusing on and talking about, that's what you're going to get. You like to gossip and talk about people? Go ahead. And you're going to attract it. Do you know, this is my opinion. If there was one person that entered the church that's a gossip, and there was one other person, the church was 1,000 people, or a place was 1,000 people, it doesn't have to be a church, but I'm just kind of saying a righteous place, right? One gossip on this side of the place, and the other gossip on the other side of the place, 1,000, 1,500, you know what will happen? They'll find each other. Why do I say that? Because the spirits in them love that whole concept of gossip. We got to stop that. That kind of stuff is negative. It doesn't get you anywhere. And what it does is it just talks about people and belittles people. And a lot of times people think they feel better because of it, like they know something. We've got to stop all that kind of stuff. We've got to watch, because life and death is in the power of the tongue, and you will eat the fruits thereof. Non-negotiables, leaving. Herb and I, as a relationship, don't talk about divorce. We don't talk about leaving each other. We don't talk about separating. We don't talk about negative things. We don't talk about past relationships. Some of you talk about past relationships and what happened in it. I'm thinking to myself, what good is that? Is that unfruitful or what? It's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. So those are some of the things as far as relationship. Some of the things that I do with my relationship, just like I do in life, as I die to self. It's not about me. It's about, pleasing the family unit has to function as a family unit. So I think it's important that, and I heard a guy saying it too. He says, a friend came over and he had the vacuum out, and he was, and the guy was looking at him, and he had another guy friend that came over one time. He was on the floor because he couldn't find the mop, and he said, that the second guy said to him, he says, you look like you're whooped. Or your wife's got you whooped or something like that. And the guy looked at him and said, you didn't know that? Meanwhile, they have the successful marriage of, 50 years. I know we're a long time married. We married in 86. You do the math. Or 87, we got married. Met in 82. So the key is, and you've heard this before too, if the woman's not happy, nobody's happy. If the wife's not happy, nobody's happy. It's not that so much that, you men can relate. You can't figure us out, right? The thing we love the most is you can't tell us how great we are enough. There's a little nugget for you guys. You can't tell us how great we are enough, but there are different ways that people, everybody, men and women, relate to and can receive love. Some people love gifts. That's not a big deal for me, but some people love gifts, and they look at that as a love. It's a gift. They think that they're loved because they got this gift. A lot of people have the need for time, quality time. That's me. I love quality time. I love good discussion. I love good communication. I love to be able to sit and just talk without distractions. I love that. Some people love to be touched, so they love like a warm hug. I love a warm hug too. I think I fall into the category of all these. Maybe not the gift so much. I'm not a big gift one. But the truth is every person is different. Every person is different. And what you want to do is figure out what your partner or your kids are really thirsty for. They're thirsty and hungry for this thing, because that's what drives them, and that's what says they know that they're loved by you is this. Now, this is in the perfect world. We know, I'm not going into the whole concept of the fact that there's some people being brought up really in wildly bad situations. And for those of you that may be watching that fell into the bad situations, and your upbringing was like one that could be in a movie, in a nightmare. I want you to know that the number one thing you can do is forgive everybody that did anything wrong to you. And that's true for anybody listening, quite frankly. Everybody has had somebody that's done something to them that just isn't right. And the key is if we walk around in unforgiveness, guess what happens? Jesus said, I can't go before the Father and bring you to the Father if you have unforgiveness on you. So we have to forgive others. Unless you forgive others, I can't forgive you before the Father, is what he said. And so that's important to realize, that we have a lot of people carry around a bitterness and a resentment because of something that's been done to you. Understand, when you do that towards a person, it's like drinking poison and hoping they get affected by it. Because it's hurting you, it's not hurting them. So, even follow the word of God. I mean, obviously, you know that I'm a very Bible-based, this is a Bible-based motivation. It's all about the righteousness and what is in the rule book, if you will, of life, which is the Bible. And he talks about that. It's important. So what are some of the, and by the way, some people think, oh, it's convenient. Listen, success is not convenient. You're going to have to get out of your own way. Success at anything. At your job. If you have a job, if you're going to be successful at your job, stop complaining. Look, if you're cursing the alarm clock when you wake up in the morning, well then, guess what? That's, if you have to be at work at a certain time and every morning you're fighting with the alarm clock and you're pressing the snooze 14 times, go to bed earlier. Make a change. The key is if you make a change, habit happens over time. This is called self-discipline. You're not going to be successful without self-discipline. Period. Not going to happen. It won't happen. We must have self-discipline. What are we eating? How are we talking? Who are we spending our time with? How much time are you on the internet? All of these types of things are important that you have self-discipline. The key is, and I want to tell you something. I actually wrote down something that I want to share. If you spend 1 hour every single day studying your chosen field, some of you maybe don't know what that is, and you need to slow down. You're not there yet, right? Take the time, go by yourself, and start to write out all the things that are of concern in your heart, or some of the things that just, if money and time were not a problem, you had unlimited time and unlimited money, start to write, what would you do with your time and money? What impact would you make on the world? Start to write all of that out. Start to write down some of the things that you feel like, oh, like I would do this, and I would do, if time and money were unlimited, what would you do with your time and money? And maybe some of you for a short period of time would just spend as much time as you possibly can with the people who care the most about you. Maybe that's all. But for others, maybe you're also, in addition to that, I think that's an important first thing. I think that it's important. So often people see success and they think that success is something, but the truth is success is when you are achieving all that the Lord God Almighty has put inside of you to achieve. And listen, it's not about meeting quotas. Successful people don't meet quotas. They don't. They meet potential. What's your potential? If you have a potential, then you go after it. Potential's unlimited, in my opinion. Because the more we go after something, the more that our success expands. Our comfort circle expands. No one becomes intimidating. You're walking in a place without fear. Guys, don't contemplate whether or not you're supposed to be successful. You are. Rise up and do all that you need to do to be the best you can be. Because the truth is, no one out there is going to pay your bills. No one's going to say, oh, Jackie, you wanted to go to Disney. I'll send you all the money. For all you and all your kids. Doesn't happen that way. It requires Jackie to get off her butt and go after it. Do something. And if it's something that you're doing right now isn't getting you where you want to be, guys, you got to change something. When I say study something for an hour a day, even a half hour a day, for the next 5 years consecutive, study your field. You know what? You're going to be an expert, an international expert in that field. I guarantee it. But if you're studying something and you think that it's studying Instagram by looking at all the pictures and you're not really studying and looking at what is the end result of that, if you think Facebook is, oh yeah, I'll study Facebook for 5 hours, an hour a day or a half, and some of you are on for 5 hours a day. I don't think that was a Freudian slip. I think that some of you are on Facebook for just scanning through. I catch myself. Why? Because there's pretty pictures. I want to like it. I start to scroll down and I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing? I don't have time for this, so I'm liking things and it's cute. And then some of you are writing these novels and I'm thinking, well, I don't have the time to go read all these novels. Some of you are reading all the novels, and then some of you, guess what, are buying into some of the gossipy types of people that are out there, because there are gossipy types that just want to stir up the junk. You've got to start to put yourself into an environment where you and your core people, the people Jesus had 3 people he spent the most time with. He had 12, then there was 3, right? There are certain people, that triad, that cord or strand of 3, that you're going to be able to communicate with, that you're going to be able to share and be able to share what's on your heart, but also receive, because you're going to be hot, honest, open, transparent. You're to find 2 other people. I don't care right now if you're canary, you're goldfish. It doesn't matter who it is right now. You find people that can be that person for you, that you guys have the time and the energy to put into each other to achieve all that you say, and each of you are going to put their arm around the other to help each of you achieve all that you say that you want. We can't achieve all that we say that we want. We can, but it's easier if you have people around you supporting you. There's a support system. Listen, some of you are pulling away from team. You have a great team and you're pulling away from that team because, and I'm going to tell you where the root of this is. It's pride. You're pulling away from a great team to do your own thing because you want to whatever. And the truth is, there's power in numbers. Why not come together with those people that are successful and then join forces and work together at that thing? Maybe the person you're striving to be, listen, how would you do? Let me ask you this question. How would you do the thing you want to accomplish? How would you think about the person who you're striving to be like? How do you think that they do the thing you're about to do? Think about that. Let's think about and strive towards helping everybody achieve all that they say they want, focusing on other people and helping everybody succeed around you. Listen, if you're not replaceable, if you're irreplaceable, you don't have to strive after success. So I always say strive after helping as many people as you possibly can achieve all that they say that they want in life. And the more people you help become successful, the more successful you're going to become. That's the bottom line. Stay committed to your dreams. Guys, so many people are so wishy-washy. They don't know what they want. They haven't written it down. I say it all the time. Go buy Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a book that's just like the basics. Most successful people who are millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires have read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And most people are so wishy-washy, but I'm going to quote something that's in that book. If you would go out and write down your goals, it's the consistent, persistent, continuous action toward the attainment of your written goals. When you do that, you're ahead of the rest of the crowd. But you know what happens? I'll tell you what happens. It's, let's say, a journey. And a lot of people buy into discouragement. They buy into things just don't look like it's happening fast enough, and they might get halfway. So everybody starts, and everybody gets this halfway point, and everybody experiences plateaus. Guys, if you think that a company can grow by billions and billions of dollars forever, it's never happened before. Your business will go into spurts and plateaus. The key is how do you handle when it's a plateau? Do you know what a lot of people do? When they feel like it's not getting them anywhere, they're not having the success, they're halfway there, and you know what they do? They decide, well, maybe God's closing the doors. Maybe this isn't for me. Whatever the case may be. And you know what they do? They go back down all the way to the very beginning. But those that are successful say, nope, I'm going to continue and plug along. And they continue down to the finish line where they're successful. And that the first person says, oh, well, it wasn't for me. Well, maybe you were being worked on in your personality and what it is that you are doing as far as communicative skills, the ability to be persistent. Listen, write it down. Persistence is key to your success. And consistency. If you're consistent, you will be successful. You see, if you eliminate the idea of quitting. Now, let's say you're just working at a job somewhere. Listen, that doesn't mean, even though that might not be your life's goal in life, but you have a good job right now, so what? Get there early. Do more. You know, I hear people say, oh, well, if they paid me more, I would do more. Well, they'll pay you more if you do more. Maybe that you turn it around. Go do the thing. Have fun doing it. Have a good attitude. Attitude is everything. So, when we're talking about non-negotiables, some of these are non-negotiables. To not have self-discipline, you can't. Listen, guys, work out, do something, go on a walk, do something, move your arms, move, get up, do something. Do something. It changes your physiology. When you change your physiology, you change everything. Your whole energy changes. When your physiology changes, you change. That is something that people want to be around. You want to be successful? If you're especially working in a business that relates to and works with people, you need to be attractive. I'm not talking physical attractiveness, because many of us have met somebody that maybe on the physical, on the appearance, may not be extremely physically attractive, but then you get to know them and you're like, oh, they are beautiful, because the beauty within, they have that beauty that emanates from within. For me, it's Jesus. People say, oh, you're beautiful. Yeah, it's Jesus in me, because the love of Christ in me, because I want to help so many people. I want to help as many people as I can. So, I just want to make sure I didn't miss any things that I was, some of the other non-negotiables we never did. Herb and I never did like this boys' night out. You always hear about that, or the girls' night out. That was always a disaster. If it ever turned out that I was out with my girls back in the day before I knew the Lord, and we're out in some club, back in the day. Remember, I didn't know the Lord until I was 34 years old. So, or even to this day, if I went out in the club or went out with a bunch of girlfriends, I mean, it's okay once in a while, guys. I'm talking to the world right now. Some of you might not relate to this, and that would be innocent, but when you're in the world and you're associating, you're doing things in the world, because maybe you haven't gotten to this point of knowledge yet. I'm trying to be sensitive to where everybody is right now. But if you imagine going out in the world and, just with a bunch of girls, you're asking for challenges. And by the way, today's day and age, you want to be on your game. I'm hearing things where there's people waiting in parking lots. Like, I hear all this crazy stuff. I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, it's really wild times today's day and age. We've got to be aware of all of our surroundings, guys. No matter where you are, just be aware of your surroundings. So we never really did that. We always enjoyed each other's company. Like, if we're going to go out on a motorcycle ride or a jet ski, or we always enjoyed each other's company. We enjoyed hiking together. Now we have the kids, and the key thing for us is family. So a lot of you see us, we're always with our family. It's our choice. We set up our life so that the family is right there. We buy this place, and then there's a place around the corner they're renting. That's to keep. We love when family is together. So what are your drivers? For us, it's been family. It's been quality time. It's been the ability to have the freedom to even take the kids, in our case, places, and be able to have fun. Like, we are not jet setters, guys. And so you have to ask yourself, and I'm only sharing it from my perspective because I want you to really evaluate what is your perspective. The one guy that I shared the example from before, who said that the one guy came in and said, oh, your wife got you whooped or something. And he said, oh yeah, you didn't know that? Well, one guy said, I want a relationship with my spouse the way you have a relationship with your spouse. You spend so much time with her. You spend so much time with your kids. And so he started to tell him, well, then help around the kitchen, do this, help with that. And he was actually, more of the household things was what was pointed out in this particular example. But so the guy started doing some of this stuff, but it wasn't lining up with this particular guy's values. If your value systems, because he thought that this whooped thing, or that, this was not something that guys do or whatever. So his values were different because it wasn't working for him down the road. So it wasn't working out for him the way that it appears to be working out for the first guy, the guy that had the great relationship, the great marriage, the great relationship with his kids. But because his values, his internal values were in conflict. My question is, so many people don't achieve success, and here comes the question, because they're not achieving success because they're kind of accustomed to, and they like how they are. They're used to it. and they've received it and accepted how they are. So what they say is things like, well, I've always been this way. So they're not achieving success because they've always been this way. Well, how's that working for you? How is that working for you? I think it's important that we, have this commitment. Marriage, jobs, friends, our commitment to our kids, our commitment to our dreams. I think that a lot of you have dreams and goals in life. And some of you are getting halfway. Or look at a staircase. Some of us take the overwhelming look at a large staircase, and it looks overwhelming to have that kind of success in a staircase that's so big. All you need to do is look at the first step. Look at the first step, accomplish it. What's the next step? What's the next step? And then all of a sudden you get yourself to the top of that staircase, and in the process you enjoy it. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days, guys. It's just part of success. Many times there's a lot of bad days, and those are the days when you get discouraged, you want to quit. This is important where you push through. Persistent, consistent, continuous action. This is important where you figure out what changes your state. Listen, most of you know I lost my sister recently, and there's times I go through and look at, we mourn, but not like the world. I know where she is, and that's amazing where she is. And she's happy, but we mourn because we miss them. But not like the world mourns, that without hope. So I had last week a harder week than usual. And so during that week, there was a few days and I was like, I just couldn't get over myself, because she's the one I call. She's the one that I would run things past. She is who I relate to all the time, right? And then my other sister, who also fills that gap, is in Europe somewhere. So I was like, who do I call? She's not here. And so I had these moments. Those days when you feel like that, and it may not be over the death of someone, it may be just that your business isn't exploding the way that you expected it to explode, and you're not where you thought you were going to be at this time. You know what you do? Change your state. What I chose to do is go out on a bike ride, or go whatever works for you. Go to the gym. Put on something positive. Start to listen to I listen to the Bible when I ride. I go through chapters and chapters of the Bible. That's what I love to listen to. Some people have audiobooks that are positive audiobooks. Keep what's coming into your body, life, into your ears, into your ear gates, life. Because whatever goes in, you know what happens? That same thing starts to come out. We can't be wishy-washy. We have to be a commitment. It's a commitment that commitment can't be based on if things are going your way or not. You can't have the commitment and be committed and happy when everything's going your way. When it looks like it's not, when things are slow, you got to stay focused. Because really people get discouraged and slack off when things don't look like it's happening at the speed. Or, what I've always said is comparison comes from the pit of hell. It's comparing to other people. You don't want to compare yourself to other people. Everybody comes to the table with a different set of skill sets and a different background. But that doesn't mean that they have an advantage over you. I was shy. I didn't know anything about anything. Look, I don't know a lot about the internet. I'm learning. And guess what? I take my time. I take the pointed effort to learn. Why? So that it produces something. Not just because I want a bunch of likes. Who cares about a bunch of likes? That's not what we're doing, guys. Make sure that whatever you're doing, if you're going to take a half hour to an hour every day and become good at what you do, then become good at it, but then evaluate the process. Is what you're doing producing the results you're looking for it to produce? Because if it's not, you need to change things. So, people get discouraged. I just want you to really, if it were easy, seriously, everyone would do it. If it was easy, everyone would do it, right? So who's going to spit into that face of fear, spit into the face of discouragement, spit into the face of work? It's work. Go out and do the thing. And now all of a sudden you got this thing where you start to climb the ladder and you're starting to, see yourself excel past people. Well, not that you're comparing. It's not about that. It's just that you will rise above. Cream rises. What is cream? It takes time. It takes chastening. It might be that you need to go through the chastening of the Lord. It might need that you like the refiner's fire. When you're going through a refiner's fire, all of a sudden it gets polished. The diamond doesn't come out looking like that. There's a fire and a polish, and there's time. The pearl doesn't look like, it takes time for that to happen. I want to share one story because before we say goodbye that you're going to absolutely love. I took a few notes, so I want to make sure that I don't mess it up. And most of you know who and what this is because people get discouraged. They start things and then things don't go their way. I want to hit that. You know, in 1960, there was a young man that opened a pizza place. And the pizza place, by the way, this young man was raised an orphan in a Catholic orphanage. And the guy he borrowed $900 to open this pizza place. And so it was a small place and this guy had all sorts of bad breaks. What happened was his business partner got into his account and stole thousands of dollars. His life savings, stole it. Not too long after that, in 1968, a fire consumed the whole building that his pizza place was in. This is a good time to think, this is what you guys do. I've heard this before. Well, God doesn't want me doing this. This might not be the path that I'm supposed to take. You know, and then, God closed the door. The building burned to the ground, 1968. But you know what happened? He could have gotten discouraged. He could have thought these thoughts. But you know what happened is it's all about staying committed. He got another idea about this. And he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to I'm going to start another place. And I'm going to actually deliver the pizza to the people. Instead of having them come to me, I'll bring the pizzas to them. Guys, this was the guy that started Domino's in Michigan. One little place in Michigan. Now, there's over 6,000 Domino's. Guys, he could have quit. There was a reason. He had reasons, right? He could have got that halfway point and went back where a lot of people, go halfway up the stairs. Forget it. It's not for me. God closed the door. Whatever. Insert your story. Guess what happened though? He pushes through it and here's the gig. If you would take your time, and I'm going to end with this, because he recently sold that for $1 billion. I mean, come on. This is the place that started for a $900 that he borrowed, he lost, and amazing story. If you would spit in the face of fear and you would commit and have quitting not be an option for you. It's not an option, guys. If you find something and you're in a successful place, even if you're at a plateau, even if your company's at a plateau, who cares? Change it. I know when we came into a company, we were with a company and we were so fired up. And what happened at that time, we didn't know it, but the company was going through some stuff in their internet. They were having adjustments in all their internet. And there was a hiccup in some of even the payments, which is always like, ugh. But guess what? We didn't know anything about it. We were new and we were fired up and we were going. And guess what happened? If you look at the company's history and the record, you'll see a plateau at that time. Right when Herb and I got involved with the company, there was a plateau. Why? People were getting a little concerned. There were some people, and anytime you get leaders, that's the one thing. If I could speak life to a company and its ownership, it would be, hey, involve and keep the leadership involved somehow. I don't know what it is, but I have ideas, but what happened at this particular time is it plateaued for a little while. But you had two people, Herb and myself, who were so on fire building something that it didn't cause a decline. And I'm not saying it was just us, but I think that because we didn't know the negative nonsense that's going on. Some people get so wrapped up in the negative stuff and they get all the gossip and they know everybody's name out and they get so focused. There's only 24 hours in a day. Put your head down, put your blinders on and work your business. And of course, then you're going to take arrows. Oh, she doesn't want to help anybody. He doesn't want. No, we're focused on, in our case, getting ourselves out of an incredible amount of debt we were in. We needed to focus. We didn't know all this garbage that was going on at the company had we nosed over there. We didn't ask for anything. We didn't ask for any money. We didn't ask for anything. We paid out of money we didn't have and bought product to get started in something we didn't even have the money to start with. It was all going on more credit card debt. Guys, there are people today thinking that you can come into something and ask to get paid before you do anything. What is that all about? And I don't know why. And I want to hit one more topic while I'm on a rip. Here's another thing too. I'm hearing this all the time. Oh, well, you should diversify. Diversify? Are you kidding me? Diversify is a great idea, but you don't diversify within your industry. I'm in the industry of word of mouth network marketing. I don't diversify by opening and being involved with more than one network marketing company. That is suicide. That is a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Herb and I have never met one person who's successful at any high level who's involved with more than one network marketing company. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. You diversify, do something else. Put some money in land or real estate, or do other types of diversification if you start to get into a successful place. But if you start diversifying by, imagine, by getting into other companies. Guys, we're in word of mouth. We're in word of mouth, so you want to share. Now all of a sudden you try a product and you like it, and now you can't help it. You're telling your people about it. Now your people are confused. What is she doing? What is he doing? I don't know what he's doing. He's in this and he's in that and he's got this. I'm not saying, look, is it okay to use this? I have a Kangen water machine. That doesn't mean I'm working the business. So what? I like the alkalization. I like what it does. I'm not working the business. Does that make sense? I see people, they're getting into this, they're getting into that, they're getting into, oh my gosh, I see stuff at the health food store. They're getting into companies that's at the health food store that's better than what they've got. Like, people just don't do their research. If you do your research and you find a company that's solid, don't quit. Stay focused. But don't start to diversify within your own industry of network marketing, for those that are in my industry. That is a bad idea. So I hope that you understood me. It's not about, oh wait, and then there's some of you. Some of you are probably listening who've made millions. You made millions in your industry and you're bored. And now you're looking to diversify. Maybe you are one of those people that are diversifying into real estate or whatever. And so you're bored and but you're not working this business that you were so fired up about. We need you. The company needs you. They need your talent. They need your abilities. Your team needs you. People want you to be involved. Guys, don't just check out. It's okay to live and have a lifestyle. That's what we go for, is the lifestyle. But in the process, have fun and continue this, because take it on as if you took out the original loans. You took out the millions of dollars to get your, in your head. This is like a little head game. You didn't, I know that. But imagine if you did put the commitment into it. It is your business. You're being paid tremendously well doing what you're doing. Don't check out. Come back. Get involved. We will take you by the hand. We'll put our arms around you and hug you, and we together can learn. Some of us old timers are learning some of the stuff like the internet and social media. And every time I seem to post something on my Instagram account, I get a text or a call from one of my kids that says, "Mommy, you need help." I don't care. Well, then help me. I'm ready. I'm the first one with my hand up. I love to grow. Guys, just keep growing, but focus. And if you're diversifying at a level where you've got yourself in a place where financially you can, don't diversify inside this industry. That's suicide. Very bad idea. So I hope it helped today. I know I really didn't get into a lot of scripture and a lot of depth of teaching in that regard, but I really felt like I needed to bring you a sock and a punch to get you motivated. So it really boils down to my whole message. There are non-negotiables. The non-negotiables of life. We have to be self-disciplined. Self-discipline is crucial. And then take the steps. Do it today. Don't wait. Why procrastinate? Consistent, persistent, continuous action toward the attainment of written goals. Written. So if they're not written, do it today. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. I love you guys so much. I pray for you all the time. Let's go out and ask ourselves, who can we help today? God bless everyone.